Reason being, because even though I may call it the New Year's mantra, you have to make sure you can always take action today on making something a reality. It doesn't have to be a dream. It can be a small victory at a time, closer and closer to your dream. Because tomorrow's not promised. My father passed away this past Monday evening. He's been struggling for 5 years with dementia. 5 years ago, 2012, as you remember, the Mayans predicted the world ended. We're still here, so the world didn't end, obviously. But a part of my world ended. It was the beginning of my father's steep decline. At my job, I was coming on my 5-year anniversary. But my work was not where it needed to be. I was putting out shoddy work. And on my 21st birthday, I received a gift. A gift of a car accident. On my way to class to boot. Your role model wanted to climb. Your job, the thing that you had pride about. One thing I always liked to pride myself on at one time was being able to separate personal and professional. But at the end of the day, your personal will become into your professional side. And that's what happens. It showed up in my work. My 21st birthday, I crashed my car. I was driving down the road, I just got a coffee. It wasn't even raining outside, it was still wet outside. I made my normal turn on Baltimore Drive, same speed, didn't have to brake, darn big brake jam. And then, instead of taking Sean's advice, it turns the curve, I turn the other side. Car crashed, I was standing there for minutes on end. It was an hour. Traffic was backed up for at least probably 2 to 3 hours. I was just split there with my parents at the time. Just staring at my car. I was just silent. It was a dark time. I didn't know how to respond. Later that day, I went home. But my parents, my mom said, you can't give up now. So I still went to class that night. And I went on with my life. And I went on so much that I went inside the public library in the leadership section. Picked up some books on leadership by John Maxwell. Went to the self-help section. Picked up some books. I even have one of those books right here. It's called The 10 Ancient Scrolls for Success by Og Mandino. This book is probably older than everyone in this room. And one of the 10 scrolls mentions, I will laugh at the world. In this life of brevity, you need levity. Thank you, Sean, for the humor. And thank you, Mark, for making the best darn burgers in the world. Because there will be moments in your life where you will be struggling, walking with something that feels 5 times your body weight. The pain. And then you'll have to keep going, and you'll have to find a way to lift up that pain, to drop the weights. I found the power of humor, to find the humor within situations, to find the light heart, to gain a light heart to carry heavy burdens. So after rebirth, I went on to have 2 themes for the following years. I was reborn, but needed to improve. And in Japan, they call it kaizen, the art of continuous improvement. I was reading all these books, consuming all this knowledge. I've written some blogs, some of them not true. I'll be honest. The first one was 2 sentences. And my mentor, he told me, as I was reading a book called The One Thing, and he said, to stop being a consumer and be a producer. It's one thing to be on the sideline cheering your heroes on, admiring their work, sharing their work with others. It's another thing where you too can say, hey, I wrote that. Because each and every single one of you have a gift. Each and every single one of you can reach people that I and Jeff cannot reach. It doesn't have to be book writing, it could be anything. You can make the best darn hat ever. You can knit the best darn sweater ever. I'm not going to try to reach people with knitting. Is that what makes sense? So continuous improvement, my mentor's advice, led me to compiling a list of books that I called the 100 Books for Dynamic Living. I handed this list out to many people. And one day when I was at a conference, I handed it out to this one lady. She has to remain anonymous, so I'll keep her wishes in mind. She said that after looking at the list, she looked back at me, then she looked at the list and looked right back at me and asked me where my book was. I was dumbfounded. One, because I had never thought of writing a book in my 20s. And two, English was my worst subject in high school. If it wasn't for those classes that I barely got that C in on that final exam, I would have never gotten my high school diploma. English is horrible. She sold it to me. She was like, hey, picture it, Dominique Brightmon, author. And I was like, no, not me, no. She even dared me, she even challenged me. Hey, this time next year, let's have both of our books written. Shake on it? Nope. Maybe you're too intense. I'm out. I know. But after that, like I even mentioned at the beginning, I had to search inside myself. I had to tap into my mental highlight reel, my pictures in my mind, get deep inside myself, and realize, hey, I could probably do this. And of course, I had accountability buddies too. Sean, I read his book, Burn the Box, and he mentioned how a sequel's coming out, and I was like, hey, where's the sequel, man? Where's the sequel at? And then he saw this as the perfect opportunity to get paid back and keep pushing me and just pitch me like, hey, where's that book at? Hey, man, it's November. It's National Write Your Novel Month. I'm like, okay, novel's good. So how about them beautiful clouds up there? Yes, that's how it went for me. And I decided to write the book. And that led to the next year, which was massive action, which was taking action on what the advice that I've gained from my books, my mentors, and my friends. And a guy who was adopted by senior citizens, a father who only got a high school education, originally had a mother who was addicted to drugs and just got out of prison this past September, published his very first book, Going North. And this is all because I had people in my life that had helped me, that prayed for me. My father, every morning, he would pray for me. Sometimes I would hear it. He would pray under his breath, Lord, please protect my child. He would always tell me, always go get your education. I may not have a doctorate, but I have a book. He always told me, get your education. When you got that education, you got it. He always told me that. So when I looked back and did some soul searching this week, I realized all these books I'm reading, all the stuff I'm doing, mainly is because of him. My father motivated me, and I have to tell you, when you publish your own book and you get the proof copy, you're going to stare at it for hours. At least I did. You ever heard them stories of professional wrestlers when they first win the world championship belts? They go into their hotel rooms at night at 11 o'clock after the lights died down. They turn the lights off their hotel room. They grab the championship belt, hold it in their hands, and stare at it in the dark for hours until they fall asleep. Now granted, this wasn't the nighttime when I got the proof copy in. And no, I didn't fall asleep while holding the book in my hand. But I will tell you, it was a surreal moment. To see your name at the bottom of a book. A guy who was at first set out to lose, but thanks to advancing others and helping others, and in turn getting that advancement back, getting that positivity back, it came to me in a product known as Going North. So let this be a challenge to you. I chose to become reborn. I decided to improve what I had. I took massive action to make that happen. There's a main reason why it's called Going North, not just because it's taking the question literally, how's it going? But it's also because there are more victories out there for everyone in this room. It's not gone north, it's going north. And you're going to reach your own mountaintop. Truly advance others to advance yourself.